If you have never worked at big tech, especially some of the top tier companies, you've probably wondered how it would be like to work in those companies. You've probably browsed through articles or watched many videos about working in big tech. But how much of that is actually real and not some silly news article hyping it all up or one of those day in life videos showing off perks that no one really cares about? Well, I've been working in tech for almost 2 decades now. I've worked at some obscure companies that no one really has heard of, early startups, and even nonprofit organizations. I've founded and exited my own tech startups, and for the past decade or so, I've been working at one of the largest tech companies in the world. And in this video, I'll share my thoughts on the pros and cons of working at a big tech company, whether that's the elusive FAANG or any other highly selective top-tier tech company. I'll talk about the day-to-day work, career trajectory, compensation and benefits, as well as the dreaded interviews. So whether you are an aspiring developer or a seasoned software engineer, this video will give you a better understanding of the differences between working at big tech versus a smaller tech company, and whether the big tech hype is actually real. All right, let's get started. Working for a smaller tech company presents more opportunities to add value and bring fresh ideas to the table. Since smaller companies generally have fewer software engineers, you will have a better chance of making a much larger impact with the work you do, and also receive recognition for your contributions. Even non-feature work like automation or reduction of technical debt can be considered major impact at a smaller company because of the lack of dev resources. You may also wear multiple hats at the same time, such as managing junior developers from early in your career, as well as acting as a project manager, all while actively writing code. At big tech, the process of developing software is much more streamlined, and they have a ton of software engineers working alongside you who are also equally proficient at coding. Even non-technical employees are required to have a conceptual understanding of software, as it is essential to the company's operations. This ensures that there is no communication barriers or product inefficiencies between engineers and other departments. And since majority of their headcount are software engineers, more engineers will be working on the same product, which means that you will be working on smaller features. And as a result, it is generally more difficult to make a big impact. I'll give you an example. Back in 2013, I used to work for a small startup that aggregated deals and coupons from local restaurants. Since the company was so small, most of their efforts were spent on data collection and the mobile application. Outside of that, they had content managers who would go through the collected data and classify them as deals and coupons. Fresh out of my master's degree and having done an independent study around supervised learning, I wrote a simple Bayesian classifier to detect offers and deals from the plethora of collected data. The content manager would then train those models, and after only a few months of training, my model was classifying offers with a pretty good accuracy to a point where we were generating offers on our app without much human intervention. A simple Bayesian classifier is not that hard to write. But for a resource-strapped small company, even something as simple as that can make a huge impact. If this was at a big tech company, this level of efficiency is usually already part of the pipeline. So you wouldn't have made much of an impact as much as you did in a small startup. The benefit of having tens of thousands of other engineers is that a few thousand could be dedicated to the infrastructure that facilitates software creation. So you will work in a robust infrastructure that is built to support developers in their work. Expectations are also clear, protocols are well structured, and there's usually an efficient process for everything. At smaller companies, oftentimes you'll be building the infrastructure you need to build your product yourself. Just like the example I gave you. While this will slow you in terms of the feature delivery, I think it's a very good thing for overall learning. As I mentioned before, at a smaller company, you are the software engineer, the data engineer, the program manager, and the DevOps engineer. So the amount of learning and transferable skills you get from a smaller company is generally much larger. So yeah, in terms of opportunity for adding value, making impact, and for technical growth, smaller companies tend to be better, especially if you're early in your career. When you have more opportunities to add value and to grow, you also generally have more opportunities to climb up the promotion ladder. So it would make sense to assume that smaller companies are better for that as well. However, this one is a bit counterintuitive. Smaller companies usually don't have that much room for frequent promotions. You may still receive bonuses and equity, more on that later, but from a promotion standpoint, there isn't much room to navigate. For example, when we created our own startup in 2012, we were 2 co-founders By 2015, that had changed to 2 co-founders, a CTO, a director of engineering, 1 person in sales, and 1 person in marketing. Add 2 more software engineers, and that gives us enough runway for the next 2-3 years. If you see that from the perspective of the newly added software engineers, the learning is great. They're doing senior level work from day one, but we don't have room to provide them with the frequent title changes to reflect that work. And for a lot of folks, that matters. At a smaller company, there may literally be only a few hops between you and the CEO. So even if you go from software engineer 1 to 2 to senior to principal, that's just 4 promotions before your next level may be director, which is already occupied. So now in big tech, while it may be harder to make impact, if you do stand out, there are many opportunities for promotion. For example, at Microsoft, you start at level 59, which is software engineer 1. You would need 4 promotions to make it to senior and 6 to make it to principal. And even at that point, you would still be 5 or 6 hops away from the CEO. So you get the idea, right? Smaller tech companies have less space to promote you, but big tech has more levels, which means more promotion opportunities. Another great thing about big tech is also mobility. Because there are so many organizations and teams, you're often able to move around within the company to find projects that you really enjoy or the teams that fit your style and culture the most. Having experience in big tech can also make your resume more marketable to other companies. So in terms of career trajectory and mobility, I would give big tech the edge. In big tech companies, software engineers are also often seen as assets, whereas at smaller tech companies, especially non-tech companies with tech departments, you may be viewed as just another business function. Because of this, companies outside of big tech are likely to pay you less. The company will also prioritize paying direct contributors first, which may include project managers, auditors, and even account executives. So if your software does not play a key role in generating revenue, do not expect to earn a substantial salary. The one exception to this is tech startups, where you are absolutely a key contributor. That being said, most startups are also cash strapped, so they cannot usually compete with big tech when it comes to immediate compensation. They provide value by giving you more equity and a potential for big payout should the startup succeed. But if it does not, your compensation through the years will generally end up being lower compared to some of the larger tech companies. The same is also true for benefits. However, before we talk about the real benefits, let me quickly touch upon the overhyped big tech perks. I know a lot of you have watched the day in life videos of software engineers in big tech where they show free lunches and massages and gyms and all that. I'll be straightforward with you. Those are vanity perks. No one sensible really cares about them. And if you're heads down focusing on building cool products, you don't have time to go chill in the sleep pod that's down the hall. And to be honest, these things don't cost the company that much either. But they do look very cool and tend to impress younger new hires to thinking that they are getting value. Take free food, for example. On the surface, it looks like a great benefit, right? But it really isn't. How often do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at work? Even if it's free, you are most likely eating lunch. And how often do you typically pay for lunch? $15? The company probably subsidizes that for $7. So 5 free lunches a week, 4 times a month, 12 times a year. That benefit only costs the company around $2,000 a year. Considering the overall compensation we are talking about in big tech is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, a benefit worth $2,000 isn't that much in terms of value. These purely exist because of competition to attract top talent, and every company wants to stand out, so they will try to offer you the best work environment possible with unique perks like free daily meals, gym membership, etc. Ignoring the vanity perks and aside from higher compensation, another real positive for big tech is their health benefits. Generally, in FAANG companies or most top-tier tech companies, you don't have to pay anything for health insurance. And if you've ever paid for health insurance out of pocket, at least in the US, you know that it is a lot. If you have a couple of kids, you can easily pay close to $1,000 a month and add an existing medical condition to that, and the monthly bill can quickly add up. So top tier health benefit actually provides a lot of value. But in general, big tech hires a lot and they constantly compete for the best talent, which results in highly competitive offers. So in terms of compensation and benefits, I think big tech has the edge over smaller companies. That being said, this may not always be a good thing depending on your situation. Because of the competition, the top tech offers are ridiculously high, but also because of that competition, you will be expected to bring in your best most of the time, and you will need to be fully accountable for the work you produce. Top tech companies will measure you against their own intense internal performance programs, which are designed to ensure that all engineers are producing great work. If you don't measure up, they will let you go, at which point you may find yourself interviewing for new positions more frequently than you'd have liked to. Speaking of interviews, the interview process is another major difference between big tech and smaller companies. Big tech, generally FAANG, has an interview process that is known to be extremely demanding. You are expected to know all the fundamentals, data structures, algorithms, and the core foundations of computer science, even though you may not have used them in your daily work. The idea is that if you have a strong foundation, they have the resources in terms of money, mentorship, and time to train you to get you to speed with their technology stack. They don't emphasize much on your experience on a certain language or a framework because of that reason. Smaller tech companies, on the other hand, cannot afford this luxury. They have limited software engineers and they need those engineers to get up and going right away. They cannot afford to let you ramp up for 6 months. So your experience with Node or Python matters a lot more to them, especially if that is what they use for their stack. And this is what informs their interview process as well. Their interviews are generally around the knowledge of a particular technology, whereas for a big tech, it is all about the fundamentals. This category is hard for me to pick in terms of which one is actually better. It's great to be able to use your experience in a certain technology to land a job, but on the other hand, it's also great to not rely on that and get a job based on your core knowledge of computer science. I personally like the latter because you aren't tied to anything specific. You're open to adapting and have the mindset that you have a strong enough base that you can work on or build pretty much anything you're required to. But then again, I have worked in this environment with this mindset and I've been interviewing candidates in this system for over a decade now, so my choice may be a little biased. Either one could be beneficial for you. But speaking of interviews, I wanted to quickly talk about Interview Kickstart. If you're feeling lost or overwhelmed when prepping, and not to mention the added stress of layoffs and hiring freezes right now, the good news is that companies are still hiring for critical initiatives and backfills. The problem is that over 80% of software engineers aren't ready for the interviews. That's where Interview Kickstart can help you. Their team of over 500 hiring managers, technical recruiters, and top-tier tech leads have developed a unique approach to interview preparation that's tailored to your needs. Whether you're into front-end, back-end, full-stack, machine learning, embedded systems, or engineering management, they have a program that fits your needs. But it's not just about technical skills. Interview Kickstart will guide you every step of the way from resume preparation to mock interviews and even help you negotiate the best offer that you can get. With a strong alumni network of over 15,000 professionals, you'll have access to referrals and insider tips to help you land your next interview. So don't let the grim news around the job market distract you. Attend Interview Kickstart's free webinar to see how they can help you take control of your career. The link will be in the description below. Thanks to Interview Kickstart for sponsoring this video. Well, that's it for the pros and cons for working in big tech versus smaller tech companies. I think the hype around working at big tech is slightly blown out of proportion. The opportunity to grow your technical skills is generally greater at a smaller company, while your career trajectory, mobility, and compensation tends to be better at big tech. So eventually, like with anything related to software engineering, it depends on what you want out of it. Neither one is right or wrong, and you can always switch between the two to find out for yourself. Even though the conclusion of this video was probably a bit anticlimactic, I hope that it was still useful and gave you some important information. If it did, please like the video and consider subscribing to this channel for more. While at it, also follow me at Utsavized over at Instagram, where I do monthly Q&As, and you can send me direct messages with any of your questions you may have. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.